The old Rover 200 was one of those cars that left you cold. Sure, it was worthy and workmanlike, but when it came to image, it had all the panache of tartan blankets and cavalry twill trousers. But the new 200 has charisma aplenty. But the 200 isn't just pretty and it isn't just cute, it's much, much more than that. To put it rather grandly, it is a defining moment in Rover's history. Probably the most significant car they've made for the last couple of decades. Why? Well, two reasons. First, it marks a dramatic shift away from Rover's more traditional, dare I say it, elderly customer base towards a much younger, more aspirational market sector, 25 to 35. And secondly, this is no pastiche of a BMW or a Honda. It is a Rover, nose to tail. And with prices set at between £10,000 and £15,000, it's going to be a question of look out Escort, look out Astra, because it's got you in its sights. There are two body shapes, 3- and 5-door. 6 engines from 1.4 K-series to 2-litre diesel, plus 7 levels of trim from the basic 1.4i to the very wonderful VI. What you get is modernity in the shape of that toothy body, adorned with the all-important traditional Rover grille. And don't think, because it looks small, it is. It might be 22mm shorter than a Peugeot 306, yet there is actually more cabin room inside. Plus extra long seat runners to boost front and rear leg reach. And it's one of those rare cars which 3- or 5-door looks just as good. And there is absolutely nothing geriatric about the way it drives. This is the 1.8 VI, which shares the same engine as the MGF. It can scamper its way to 60 in 7.5 seconds and run on all the way to 127. Even the diesel isn't dreary. The 2-litre turbocharged can crack 115. As for the handling, it's like a go-kart. You've got standard power steering across the range, which is beautifully weighted, and it just turns in, bites and grips. Frankly, the chassis on this car is surprisingly good. So who exactly is responsible for putting the zing into Rover?
We've taken some of the obvious traditional elements of Rover, such as the grille, the badging, and fused them to a car that's got a lot of youthful dynamic appeal. It's got a very long wheelbase, very short overhang, so that the wheels are at each corner of the car, so it's got a very good stance.
Now, there's a hugely dramatic departure at the back here with this peaked cap rear spoiler. I mean, you know, 5 years ago for Rover to do something like that would have been unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very strong design element. It's there for aerodynamic reasons, but we really wanted to make a feature of it from a design point of view. And it sits very nicely in this overall glass shape. We employed some very young designers. We put 6 of them to work on this program. We chose one of their designs, and that designer was 26 years old.
And if the Italians of Portofino are anything to go by, they reckon that designer has done a rather splendid job. But what about build quality? Because we all remember those dark old days of the Montego and the Maestro. Crappy, fragile cars that broke down a lot. Well, the 200 looks and feels different. The paint finish is absolutely flawless. The doors now thunk reassuringly. And at last, Rover has managed to get its outside component suppliers to make their interior switches that click satisfyingly. So what we're looking at here is not just a small car that's big on quality, but a small car you can actually feel proud to own. So what's wrong with it? Well, not much. A 1-year warranty is a bit mean-spirited. ABS is only standard on the top model and there's no remote boot release. But that's carping, really. Perhaps its greatest flaw is that it doesn't look as big as its competitors. But look at it this way. Rover have created an entirely new market segment, the Super Mini. Dimensionally challenged or not, the new 200 is a little burster.